we have the following 20 numbers, and we want to find the quartiles. Okay. Now this is something that we didn't do in class when we were busy doing the more challenging things, something that I expected would be simple enough that you could easily pick it up from the text, and at this point I expect that most people found this to be the most difficult of the problems on the sample test simply because they hadn't worked through section 4 of the chapter on statistics. So the idea is actually very simple. You know how to find a median. The median of 20 numbers is the average of the 10th and the 11th numbers. And just to get straight on the median, if you have 5 numbers, then the one in the middle is the third. I don't want to hold up that finger by itself, but it's this one. Okay. If you have 4 numbers, what's the median? Well, you throw out the top and the bottom, and that leaves you these two. It's going to be the number halfway between these two, so you just average the 2 in the middle. If you have an even number of numbers, then you can, for example, 4 numbers, divide 4 by 2, you get 2, and you're going to use number 2 and number 3. If you have 5 numbers, you divide 5 by 2, you get 2 1/2. Well, you take the third number. Now, there's a rule in your book. But if you just understand what you do with 4 and 5 numbers, you can extend that to what would happen with 20 numbers. What happens with 20 numbers? Well, you throw out the 1st and the 20th, the 2nd and the 19th, and so forth, and you're left with the 10th and the 11th in the middle. If you divide 20 by 2, you get 10, so it'll be the 10th and the 11th. Okay, well, you find the median. Now, to find the median, you want to list the numbers in order. So I've just taken a scale from 5 to 21 and put the numbers in their approximate positions on that scale. And the only goal here is to get the numbers in order. So I start with the 13, put it here. I put the 21 down at the bottom because I see 21's the biggest. There's a 12 in there. And we just put the numbers down in some way that makes sense, that puts them in order from smallest to largest. Then we find, in this case, the 10th and 11th number, and we just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's the 10th, there's the 11th. The median is halfway between these. Well, these numbers are the same, so the median is 13. Now, this splits the distribution into 2 pieces. This is your second quartile, because quartile means, okay, median, you're splitting the distribution into 2 pieces. In a minute, we're going to split the distribution into 4 pieces, and we're going to get quartiles, quarter. We're going to quarter the distribution. Okay, so we split here to get the median. Median is determined by these 2 numbers. That's also called your second quartile. The first quartile is the median of the first half. That is, if we split the distribution in 2, we take the lower half, and we have the upper half. We take the median of the lower half. Well, the lower half has 10 numbers. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so the average of the 5th and 6th. And of course, you can count down. You throw out 10 and 1, the 10th and the 1st, the 9th and the 2nd, the 8th and the 3rd, the 7th and the 4th. It leaves you the 6th and the 5th. 5th and the 6th numbers. 5th and 6th numbers are both 9, so we don't really have to do an average. We know that that's going to split here. Now we've split it into quarters. We've got 20 numbers. Now we've got 5 numbers here, and we've got 5 numbers here. So we've quartered the distribution, and the point where we quarter the distribution is the first quartile. We split the second half the same way. When we throw out the 4 largest numbers and the 4 smallest numbers, we end up with 17 and 21. So the median of the second half, the point where we cut the second half, is halfway between 17 and 21. And that's the average of the 15th and 16th numbers. And we get the average of those 2 numbers is easily calculated to be 19. So that's our third quartile. So we have first quartile, which is at 9. Second quartile is at 13. Third quartile is at 19. So the whole thing of finding quartiles is really quite an easy process. It's very straightforward, easy to understand. But of course, We concentrated in class on harder things. We didn't mention quartiles. That's something I expect you to get from doing the assignment.